Tried. Vayne replay. Rough lane. I'm gonna tell you what I tell all the Vayne players. First things first. Wait, whoa, what the fuck did he just do? Did he just leech XP and leave? So Talon steals your XP and leaves. And then isn't gonna gank? Dude, this is some fuckery right here. This is like... I'm getting brain damage. I'm sorry, I had to watch that. I mean, it's a good solo queue strat if he actually, like, doesn't suck and gets a kill off of it. Alright, anyways, back to my train of thought. We're seeing so much weird shit this season. I'm just like, I'm trying to learn and coach. So, the big to do with Vayne is very simple. IE static shift, that's where we gotta go. Kakarot, thanks for the 2 months. IE static shift, that's where we gotta go. Alright, so you're gonna be basically farming super passive early, getting as much CS as you can, and then going from there. Now, that said, I will acknowledge you guys got kind of gimped, and you're dealing with a very, very tough lane with Brand, and Karma offers you no sustain whatsoever. So this is like, in terms of like what you want to work with as Vayne, this is pretty low on the spectrum. This is manageable though, we can catch back up. But we're already off to a pretty rough start, and that just comes with experience. So let's see what we did in the beginning. Glocketeer, thank you very much for subbing with Twitch Prime. Love you, dude. So I always say in my coaching that the first 5 minutes is probably the most important. So let's go back in time and see everything. I got kind of thrown off guard with the weird Talon pathing, but let's take a peek at this. Okay, for some reason Karma's not playing up with you at all, not pushing at all. So it could be very tricky early on. Yeah, there's not much you could do here, dude. There's really... Not with the way he's positioned, no. Because he's not giving you shit for auto attacks in lane or anything. I still don't understand why this Talon doesn't just gank these guys when he gets 3. It's just the silliest fucking... Especially once you guys turn level 2, it would be such a good gank. In terms of like your last hitting, managing tumble is very, very important. So like if you tumble and anyone catches wind of that, they're gonna try to exploit it. But if you're tumbling and it's just to take a creep and then run backwards all the way out, that's probably how you can get through this lane. That's like the only way you can get through this lane, really. Because this is just ridiculous. So yeah, dude. I mean, I watched it again, and there's really nothing much here that we could do. Obviously, you can clean up your mechanics and where you go into tumble for farm or where you don't. But ultimately, that's on you to learn, and there's not much that I can teach you that you're not gonna. You need to figure that out just by fucking raw games. The other thing that I'm gonna tell you is that the Vayne matchup, Vayne and solo queue, I really don't recommend it. I don't recommend it at all right now. Unless you have a duo partner who knows what they're doing. I don't recommend this pick. I would much rather you take something that can win a lane. Because you are very, very heavily reliant on whether or not you get to go all in at level 6 with a reasonable HP bar and you didn't get shit on and shafted to the point of where your support wants to hang you for picking Vayne. Okay. So, I mean, I like Vayne, and I actually think Vayne's new build is pretty strong. That's what I mean when I say I like Vayne, but I just think that you need something that has some power in lane in solo queue, in my opinion. You could ignore my opinion, and I'm not gonna stop the session or anything for that, but I'm saying that I would strongly recommend something else unless you're gonna play with someone you know. Strongly recommend. I want you to identify this as a spot where you could have tumbled forward next time if you wanted. Brand gets way out of line here, and for some reason you don't see that as a good window, but I do. This is what I call losing your mind, and he definitely loses his mind. Right here, this could be very easy for you to fake out. Auto Q forward, so it'd be A, Q forward, and then look for condemn. Jhin's positioning up here is like he can't really even assist this, and you're in your minions. So this guy is way you need to recognize this is a squishy mage who's in minions, who's stepping over to harass, and Jhin isn't following. It would be one thing if he was harassing from this range, max ranging you, but he's not. He's stepping over minions and getting in your butt cheeks. So we need to go back in on this and actually trade. I definitely don't like, there's no reason to step back. They haven't hit level 4 yet. To my knowledge, the fuck? Did I accidentally just skip all that? Hold on. I need to get back to that point. I'm sorry. I accidentally clicked on the bar. What is happening, dude? I can't. Holy. Okay, let's go back in time. Right here's where we were. I'm sorry it took me so to figure. I'm sorry that it took me so long to figure out where we were, but I was just trying to say that I think we could have dashed it and traded. That's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Thanks, Darth. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I think you could have traded because he got kind of out of line. I mean, you guys do eventually trade. It was just a little inefficient. Nice try. It was a little Okay, wait, so we get Karma exhaust, no summoners used. You needed to flash there, actually. That was where the flash needed to happen, I think. If you're gonna go in, if you're gonna make this play, this needs to be flashed. That's just too much free damage you gave away there, I think. If we're gonna commit to this. So let's go back in time. I know this is a 50-minute game and we'll get out of this soon. But it's on you to clutch this shit if you're gonna go for it. So Karma goes in. You get the dude's heal. This needs to be a flash over the brand, basically. To here. Or to here. But, actually, it'd probably be better going over, flashing over this. You don't want to take this free damage. It's too much. And then maybe go for a condemn or something. You could potentially flash to here and E if you'd like. It'd basically be auto E. It'd be a decent move. But yeah, this is where you lose here. So in the future, understand if you're going for these thin, I think that you can win it, honestly. And if we're gonna go for it, we have to be prepared to flash Brand's damage. Okay. That's the most important thing. The condemn is like you're advanced if you go here and condemn him into this wall. That's like that's the perfect play, but you win this as long as you flash pillar. And then, you know, you'd have your heal to follow up. But you need to understand that taking this risk and going in, headshot. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I forgot about that. Wraith makes a good point. You could also start the condemn animation and then flash. So if you want to poke him into the wall, you'd basically start. I mean, this is super advanced, and I'm only saying this because you try to make the play. But the most important thing out of all that bullshit is that when Brand stepped into the minions there, we should have just been ready to trade because he kind of went a little crazy. And we didn't biscuit. Good point. That's another good point. Health management, like HP management there too. We probably wanted the biscuit before going in on that trade at the very least. So yeah, a lot of little things that we could do, and that should be good for you. Like you should feel good about that, because normally if there isn't much that we could have done about that, then that's where we get the sad face. Oh, okay. You did use the biscuit. All right, just making sure. I did eat my biscuit. Damn it. Are you good? Damn it, dude. Fucking biscuits. You gotta step up with... You still have flash. So you gotta step up here and farm. There's too many minions. Brand isn't showing, so... Another thing, remember this. Get this into your fucking brains. If you push up and you take some aggressive trades, as long as you go and take the plants on the side, you can basically keep pressure on. It's pretty cool. I'll review whatever if you pay Bronze Skippy. I don't care about that. I've always reviewed norms. If they just have to be losses, same thing as ranked. If people are serious and that's what they want to review, then that's fine. That's a good condemn. That's good initiative there by you to follow up the gank like that. I really want to all in this guy if we turn 6. I don't know if we will off this wave, but that's what I really want. Okay. Super close. And you decide to back. That's fine. Hopefully we have enough for... same criticism that I gave the last Vayne guy. You really would rather go for the... You'd really rather go for the damage item more than the Zeal, I think. So normally you're gonna go BF, then you're gonna go for Zeal and probably finish Static Shiv first. You don't need the attack speed right now. You don't need that right now. Yes, you did. You lying sack of poo. You noob, you feed, dude. Yeah, I was gonna say. You lying turd booger, dude. Can't lie to the champ, dude. I know the truth. The proof is on the fucking thingy over here, dude. I got it. I got all the info. Helps with last hitting too, which is like, you're hitting pretty well here, but having a BF sword makes it so much easier. Thanks, CDC. Love you. Look at this fucking Talon, dude. Just getting it. This fucking Tom. Oh my god, can we just pause your replay for a second and talk about the fact that Tom with this stupid fucking mastery. Dude, the mastery with the fucking shield on Tahm Kench. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's gonna be so stupid. Wow. I just realized that. The stupid shield mastery with Tahm Kench. Guys, that is gonna be AIDS. That's gonna be awful. Alright, I gotta start speeding up your replay, I'm sorry. It's a very long replay. Let's talk about your all-in, let's see what you do here. Oh, you can stop. You can basically, once this trade has happened, you have two options. If you want to keep going, you can. But generally speaking, that's super worth. We got heal, we got flash, we got exhaust. You could just back it down. And I want you as a, you know, I want you as an ADC to be a thinking player when you make your ult here and you E forward. Or, I'm sorry, when you R and Q forward, right? I want you thinking about how your opponents are going to react. So you should have a general sense of like, okay, I'm gonna go in here. That's like the first layer, and we're trying to layer all these different thoughts together before all-ins. That's like the important thing about executing smart all-ins. So your all-in is okay, mainly because I believe you have a minion advantage and Karma initiates, and that's normally good enough in solo queue, right? So right here, Brand, you know, he's been doing this all lane phase. He gets out of line again, and you and Karma decide to pull the trigger. Okay, so what you should be thinking is, how is this retaliation gonna look? So as soon as I go in, if I'm you, I'm planning on summoners probably coming out because of this bad spot, right? You should already know that this is a good all-in for us. We're probably gonna win it. The next thing is, you gotta mentally like, all right, when these, you know, when these summoners start coming out, I'm either going to continue or I'm going to run. This one looks more like once the summoners have all come out, I would probably just say worth and go back to farming, okay? Because you have total control of the lane now. If the jungler comes down, you have heal, you have flash, you have all sorts of shit to work with. Sure, you don't have your ult, but you have a lot to work with, and now you get lane control. So you can just take a breather, basically. Unless Karma hits a nice engage. If you want the... This is great. Now, if you want to continue... Okay, this needs to be either a flash condemn or just a standard condemn. But it needs to happen. We need to get this kill no matter what. Because we know that this guy doesn't have flash and this guy's got nothing. Well, we know that he doesn't have heal flash and we know this guy doesn't have exhaust. So this is a great, like, checkmate spot that he's in. Great, and you should stay on that. You should keep autoing there. No. I don't know where you're going. He just blew his load. So that should have been an easy double, actually. The other thing that you really want to do is, as soon as that ult comes down, your Karma may play it wrong, but you really do want to go down this way. As the ult's going, so that you could try to space out some of that damage. Okay? So there, again, stay on him there. He ain't got shit. You have flash, you're good. Stay on him and trade. You play it way too scared. He doesn't have anything there. He just doesn't. That was a very good spot to keep the trade on, basically. Because remember, you have the Karma there, and she's gonna throw out some shields and shit for you too. But that's just a lack of awareness on summoners there. And that's why I say, like, kind of keep a mental tally. Be like, okay, they just burned 3 summoners, like, I have so much wiggle room here. The only thing I have to worry about is Brand's flash. And then start programming your brain before the fight happens. Like, Brand has flash. They have nothing else. Brand has flash. They have nothing else. And then that'll make your whole fight easier to plan and scheme. Cool. Talon goes in suicides. Some proper XD. Got Cast up in the bot lane. Chilling. What happens here to us? Okay, remember, you just saw Master Yi floating around. So, like, you really shouldn't be going too crazy. And remember, you just blew all your summoners. You don't have all, like, this is just really thin, dude. And no vision. So, like, but even without the vision, like, you should have a pretty good suspicion that the guy is going to be around. And it's just, you had already won, dude. Like, you just wiped the floor with them a second ago. And you hadn't backed yet. Like, you had a lot of gold behind. I just don't see a reason to go in. Like, you should be playing to poke and go backwards as opposed to poke and go in. That's how you should be viewing it, because just like in top lane, just like in mid lane, you're trying to do what I call exit trade, where it's like, okay, now they're back in lane. You have won the previous exchange. Now you want to get back. You want to buy and whatever. You're using your HP to poke at them a bit and then leave, especially important versus lanes that don't have a lot of sustain. All right. That shit happens. God, this replay's long as fuck. So you do get to the late game brand or Vayne fantasy. Can I do this? All right, we have information that Jhin's bottom. This should be an immediate, yeah, this should be an immediate ult tumble here, in my opinion. We have flash. We have everything. I don't know why you run. That's instant, in my opinion. You had 2 levels on that guy. Just go. Don't fuck around there. I want to see the ham sandwich there. Because where Jhin was at. Again, it goes back to programming. If I see this guy, because Jin's bottom, I'm going in. You're pretty far. You're more far ahead than you should be, and you need to use that. Okay. You really shouldn't have. You shouldn't be in this position. You're in a pretty good spot. Okay, Tom's getting top. So we have 1 responsibility right now, and he's going. He's still going. They're in Dragon Pit. You're right here. Now you have summoners, remember. They're tanking Dragon. These are, again, 2 squishy champs tanking Dragon. You really should be ulting in. You don't have to lead with Q here. You can just ult and run at them and decide how you want to play it. But, it's, you know, it's 2 skill shot champs, and you got Karma right here, and they're tanking Dragon. So as long as you cheat, actually... As long as you're playing towards this side, so where the arrow is, and this side, they're going to tank Dragon the whole time. And you can go right on Jhin if you'd like. But I want you being decisive here and poking. Again, we don't have to commit. You could ult, walk forward, and then determine, like, okay, I mean, I just Q back. Maybe, you know, maybe I auto a couple times and Q back. But you really want them to be committed to Dragon because you have so much wiggle room with the top laner. Like, the top laner is making so much space that your plan should be, you should be planning this in your mind. You should be like, okay, this is a 4v5. I have Tom top. Tom is huge. So all I really have to do here is just poke and see what I can get done, if anything. And if you're playing in a more reserved way, as opposed to like, go ham. If you're thinking more like, I'm going to ult, run at this guy, maybe bait a couple skill shots, and maybe turn on Lux and Brand, maybe go at this guy, maybe just Q away, Q backwards, or maybe Q to the side. Like, you have so much stuff you can do. But instead, you don't see this as a window, and you kind of just float. But look at the Dragon. Watch. This is important. Remember this Dragon. Watch. See this? This is what I'm talking about. That's all damage that we get if we just keep them interested. So now we have to use our flash, which, let's be honest, we were already in position. And we could have just floated around. And we should be taking mid here. And you do. Dude, he gets so much fucking health now. God. That is ridiculous. I'm playing that shit. That shit's OP though. What happened here to us? We pushed out without ult. Oh, we have ult. He needs to be condemned away, like, ASAP. Okay, you need to be... Okay, so you need to pick a street. Like, again, plan the fight in advance. You need to pick a side. Either you're going to condemn him into this wall or that wall. But we're going backwards. When the minion's thin, he's going to try to all-in us. And that's fine if you had a plan. So, like, you should have... Remember with Yeet, if he Qs to you, he's going to land right on top of you. So let's watch this again. So he's going to Q to us. It should have been when he... Why did that just happen? That was weird. It should have been you inch this way, just walk. This is about being calm, okay? So you should have walked towards the wall, tanked the turret shot or whatever, and then you're going to R, Q, this way, with the intent of condemning as soon as he comes out of ult, okay? Because he just queued in front of you. So unless he plans on flashing, you're gonna win this fight. All right, you would have it crushed, especially with heal. But the way you play it, it's like you're not thinking about it. And I want you to see how he comes out of this Alpha Strike. See how he comes out? So imagine if we're on the wall. If we're on the wall and he comes out of Alpha, then guess what? That's an easy condemn unless he flashes. If he flashes, he beats us, but whatever. That's a tough flash. So you need to plan this ahead. Most G players aren't planning that far ahead. So if you're doing that, you've already beat the guy. And he's gonna, he's gonna ult. You could just, you might not even need to ult. You might even be able to just walk away and then Q out and then E forward, right? You might be able to do that. But you didn't have a plan. And you need to if you're gonna split push. Okay? I think you could have won it though. Truly, I think you beat him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you beat him. Let's look at your dusk blade item. Does it make sense? Lasts for 4 seconds after being seen by an enemy champion. Seems like it could be okay. I don't know if it beats the IE build or not. But I kind of like the experimental nature of it. It does remove wards too, which is pretty dope. What's the cooldown on it? 90-second cooldown. That's pretty dope. That's good for splitting, dude. That's pretty cool for splitting. I like the flank. That was probably one of the better flanks I've seen on replay reviews. So that's a pretty good move. Everything you did there was good. You shoved the wave in. You rotate. You lead with your ult. And you execute a nice multi-kill, which there could always be an argument for staying on the turret when no one's defending you. That's an option. Oh, you actually didn't shove in. Still pretty good flank because they're committed to the fight, But it's always remember that if you have a wave here and you jam this in first, it helps with it. They should know that you're coming. Better players should react to you better coming, but these kids are newbies. I just want to see where you throw. That's what I'm most concerned about, because you guys have like massive momentum right now. Dude, this kid is on it. And then you get hit. So I don't know why you don't run in front of your teammates there. He's kind of sloppy by you. Jhin ult comes down. This should feel like we're in kill range. So you should just be spacing back a little bit here, and then let him fire a couple, like let him fire like one, and then just walk it out basically. If I'm in your position, putting this game away, I'm thinking I need to... Well, like right here, pushing bottom is really good. We have static shiv. Don't stop pushing, dude. Push, push, push. You can't afford to be doing this, whatever this move was. Yeah, you can't afford to have that happen to you when you come out of the brush. Oh, that is incredibly unfortunate. Like, that is incredibly unfortunate. I can't believe this shit. I can't believe that. Wow, dude, that's very unlucky. That was a pretty good play by you. I didn't mind that play at all. I thought it was smart. For the purposes of, this is our biggest throw of the game, and probably where I'll stop because it's 50 minutes long. And we've covered a lot of shit specifically in this one. But we're going to talk about this fight. So the first issue that I have here is that we take a lot of poke. That's a big ass fucking... We take a lot of poke out of the brush. So we step into the brush and we get chunked down, okay? May not seem like a lot, and it normally isn't, but the problem is that you are in this fight with 40% HP now because of that. And we don't get an opportunity to lifesteal. What you really should be thinking here is like, shit, I just fucked this up. I need to find something to lifesteal off of. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything. We have a ward, and we have, I think we have scuttle off to the side. We also have mid. It's normally better when you get chunked down. It would normally be a better option to just go off to a different lane and either you lifesteal off minions nearby or you just go to a different lane and push to heal up and then 1v1 someone. The flat team fight is probably just shit luck that you don't still win it anyways, because you guys have a massive lead over these guys. Oh, they don't? Okay, good catch. Yeah, then we can't even use wards. So, yeah, I guess that's the only real option then, is to either go directly to scuttle, do not pass go, just go directly to scuttle, and you don't get $200. Or go to mid, push mid in, and let your team do this thing while you just kind of chill to the side and do the flank. Because remember, you're Vayne. You do well splitting, and these types of fights, I want you to stop and look at their comp too for a second, alright? Now, granted, your Tom has been like killing it all fucking game. He's sweating bullets, dude. He really wants that preseason elo. I'm right there with him, dude. He really wants it. He needs it in his life. But, you don't really want to be reliant. With a composition like this, this is what I call like, this is like, this is the fucking damage comp. And you don't really have peel, you have Tom. So unless you stand in Tom's ash, you're going to get dealt a lot of damage. Okay, so like Brandel, Lux, like fucking the Q damage that's gonna come out. Jhin is gonna ult a lot of times. Wukong is gonna have the fucking invis engage. Master Yi is gonna have a hard engage with his ult. It's almost unavoidable damage. Like, those are the types of team fights where, like, you don't have a clear path to fight, because no matter what you do, you're gonna get hit by a fuckload of damage. Which is why I often say, if you're facing that type of composition, if you're facing what's essentially like a team fight comp where you just can't seem to fight without getting obliterated, it's normally best to ISO, to go off to the side and split and then flank like you did, or just keep pushing like you did. But since we get chunked down, we put ourselves in a really shit spot where when we do make this great play, our HP is so low that we actually don't get to do much of anything there. Because of how low our HP was. I'll skip ahead a bit. I'm gonna have to skip some of this.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Actually, I do want to know what happens to Baron. Do they get Baron? This is like reading a storybook.
Red team has slain Baron Nashor.
So they do get Baron. Eventually. After, it looks like after you take an inhib and get wiped. I don't agree with this because your team is in no position to help you. Wow, that's a lot of damage. If you can make that pick, like, if you can make that pick with Baron, by all means do it. But, like, I just don't see you killing that Yi in his current position that he was in unless you land the Condemn. So, either you are going to, as soon as you see him, either you immediately fucking flash and go for it. See, a lot of times I feel like with you, well, he can see you anyways, so you're not fooling anybody here. Yeah. So yeah, when he can see you, you gotta just leave. You gotta condemn and leave. That's all there is to it. Yeah, it's a pretty bad time to die. If you can make a pick, then you're winning, because that means that they're not gonna be able to push with Baron. But to be honest, because of how much pressure was drawn mid, you probably could have just condemned and ran and be alright. Again, here, you try to push in. It almost feels like this game that we don't realize that we've already fallen back behind. Like, they have Baron, so they're pretty strong, and you've got to kind of respect that for a little bit. Until the Baron wears off. I think your team just chokes here. I want you to see what happens. Wukong's standing there. They see Kha'Zix. Now, notice as soon as Kha'Zix is shown on the map, they go in. This is standard, like, every player that plays an engaged champ is worth a shit at all is going to do that. So there it is. He sees Kha'Zix, and he goes, I'm going in, boys. Sorry. And as a result, you guys get murdered. So yeah, you should have been playing again to run away. So let's summarize this game. From what I could tell, you definitely had a big lead. You definitely did some things right, but I think that you abandoned some of the concepts that were working for you, like, especially like mid-late game. Well, this game goes ultra late, but late game, it feels like you just didn't realize that they had caught up and they beat you. And this again is a composition where you can't avoid damage. So like, you really need to be super respectful about their engage and about the fact that they have such like long range fucking secure. So like even like as long as Wukong touches you and ignites you, Lux can ult you from that position and you're fucked. So you really do want to cheat towards split pushing more than grouping. Or if you're going to group, you do it on the flank like you did, that is like, in terms of your level, the flanking off of a push and the play that you made here was like so good. That's like high elo Vayne move. You see that move and you go, that guy is good at Vayne. But mostly for the rest of the game, you do some silly tumbles forward and you just kind of get cocky with your lead instead of keep doing what you're doing, which is push, work the map down, 1v1 people, flank, and then win the game. This is a comp that you need to understand that is the goal. You're one of the few champs that can handle shit like Yi and Wukong and just the bullshit that could 1v1 you. And you need to be able to take advantage of that as opposed to giving them what they want, which is like the easiest team fight on the planet. And that's what they do. And then here, obviously, the Kha'Zix like splits off to the side. Your laning needs a little work in terms of like decisiveness, like when I should be turning in. But you managed a pretty tough lane pretty well. And I like I liked your condemns. I liked all that shit. Like you were on it for the most part. There were times where I would have immediately taken lines of aggression like mid-game. You saw a support walk out and you were level 10 and he was level 8 and you didn't immediately ult tumble. So there's some kinks to iron out, but the biggest one that I saw in this one is stick to the plan, dude. Push off. Like, comps that you would rather fight like straight up are when you have a team fight that makes sense. Like Karma's more of a skirmisher and a poke champ. Kha'Zix a skirmisher and a poke champ. Talon, same thing. Tom, he's a decent team fighter, but your composition doesn't really lend itself to team fighting nonetheless. When you really look at it and break it down, you don't want a team fight. You don't because the minute that your team gets too close, someone dies. It's just how it goes. All right, so dude, good replay. Thank you so much for submitting it. YouTube, thank you so much for watching this long-winded Season 7 Vayne replay. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and all that bullshit. And it's Nisi. I'm out. Peace, cracks. Thanks so much.